Atoshiko, please kindly mute. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. For those that are just joining, please bear with us. We will just wait for a while for other persons to join before we kickstart. Welcome to the section. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to NAIJA Java User Group Lightning Talks today. Today happens to be the last lightning talks for the month of September, and October we are planning on having the same sections as well. So stay tuned. But before we kickstart, I want you to react with your favorite emoji if you're ready for this section. That would show me that, oh, you're really ready for this section. You're ready to unlearn, relearn, and so I want you guys to react with your favorite emoji. I'm not, it's just, okay, Jeremiah is reacting. Moshood has reacted. Omotayo, I'm not seeing your reaction. David, I'm not seeing your reaction. Okay. Thank you very much. So without wasting much of our time, I just want us to stay put as we welcome our first lady. In fact, since we'll be having this section, this is the first lady we are. It has been guys. This is the first lady we are having in the house. So I just want you to stay put as we welcome our first lady, Miss Rosemary, to take over the floor. Thank you very much, guys.
Hi everyone. Hello. Good evening. Thank you, Gloria, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. Welcome. It's really a honor to be here, sincerely. Thank you. So, my name is Rosemary Uroko Nena. I'm a Java developer at White Label Technologies. White Label is a subsidiary of Canary Points. And I'm just a baby Java developer, so please don't expect too much, but I promise to give you my best. Thank you. Thank you for someone. Yeah, so today we are going. Oh, let me share my screen, please. Sorry, just a minute. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Please, if at any point you stop hearing me, just draw my attention back to it because you know this network. But I'm ready. I have all the network ready in case one misbehave. So, like I said, my name is Rosemary, and today we are going to be talking about effective logging and auditing in modern Java applications. So, logging is something that we have had to do. It's a must as a developer, especially when you're working with real life applications. You must, at one point or the other, have come across it. So today we just want to talk about how to log effectively in modern Java applications. So most of us, when we started coding, it's usually the system.out.println. That's what we normally use for our debugging. But today we want to move beyond print line, and instead we'll build an effective logging and auditing strategies. And we are going to start with the foundation, the best practices, principles, and then finish up with AOP. So I hope we'll have an interesting ride. So the agenda, why logging matters, key logging frameworks in Java, best practices, auditing concepts, AOP, and little demo examples here and there, and the QA section. So why does logging matter? Why? Um, Logging is like a diary, like some of us that did use diary back in the days. I think recently that's what we have in our phone as notepad or note takers. So log is that is a diary of your application that will help you to get certain information to understand and monitor your application. It helps you to debug errors or issues quickly and helps you to monitor performance. And then log provides an insight, meaningful insight about why some certain things are happening, at what level they are happening, and possible causes. It also helps you to dictate security um, threats and compliance early. So logging is very important. It's a tool that every developer should master. So without proper logging, production issue is going to be like, oh my God, it will become a nightmare. So, and in as much as we are emphasizing on logging, too much logging can cause chaos. You can get lost in the logs if care is not taken. Same also, too little logging will not provide insights, the meaningful insights or actionable data that you might need to solve certain kind of problems. So the goal at all points should be effective logging. That means the log should be clear, it should be concise, and it should provide actionable data. Emphasis on actionable data, that data and information that you'll be able to use it to solve a problem or understand why certain things are happening. So logging is critical for accurate debugging, and it prevents guesswork in problem solving. In the early days of when I newly started, uh, once I had an issue, I would just run to my boss and be like, this is happening, no, this is happening. I didn't even know what log is. I didn't really have that much insight. He'd be like, Rosemary, have you checked the logs? I'd be like, oh, what's this part talking about? But gradually, log became my go-to um, go-to should I say to or go-to dictionary where I go and find out why some certain things are happening. Then auditing, on the other hand, it provides a crucial evidence to support compliance and build trust. Logging and auditing are quite different. So auditing is actually meant to provide evidence that will support compliance. For instance, it should tell you who did what, at what time did they do it, what was the result of their action, what action was performed, and all of that. So auditing should be concise. It shouldn't be as it shouldn't contain some certain details like the logs. There are some things that you should log for your own debugging or production problem solving issues. But for auditing, it's mainly for the people that need audits. They don't actually need maybe, for instance, what's the payload they are in order to maybe create an just stuff like that. So for example, now production logs that once took you days to solve can be fixed in hours using structured logs and correlation IDs. What are correlation IDs? These are like, for instance, let me use user ID for instance. In our application, if for instance there's a transaction in a microservice architecture, let's assume we have the transaction service or transfer service or auth service and like that Firebase. So there should be like these IDs, correlation IDs is what is going to help you to like relate, okay, this is where this is coming from this particular user. Be able to like link an issue to another issue to another feature like that. So effective logging and auditing are foundation, and they are not optional extras for safe and reliable systems. Am I too fast? Sorry, I'm a bit tensed, so I might be fast. Please call me back if I'm too fast. So logging helps developers. Hope we are together. Sorry, I can't see any reaction because I'm in the full mode.
Yes, we are together.
All right, thank you very
I'm
much.
speaking on
So
their behalf
logging,
though.
huh?
I'm speaking on their behalf though, but I believe we are together.
All right. Thank you very much, Gloria. So logging actually help developers and operators to track system behaviors and diagnostic issues. So logging will help you capture the detailed diagnostic events like errors, information stored in a centralized system such as the ELK. Auditing records. Auditing records minimal structured entries with actors, action, the outcome, and all of that. So also do not replace audit trail with debug logs because they serve different audience and purpose. For instance, like I said, Logs is just maybe for you as the developer and the operations guy and the technical support, maybe. But the audits serve a different audience, like maybe those compliance people that might come to find out, okay, why did this happen, or maybe during an annual audit stuff that they just need minimal information with structured entries about who did what, when did they do it, why was it done, and what was done, like that. So they are quite different. So we have um, popular Java frameworks, popular Java logging frameworks like the Java ETL login, the Log4j, SLF4j, and the logback. Um, I remember the first time I saw at SLF4j annotation on a colleague's laptop, and I was like, "What's going on here?" I didn't even know what it was. Then I now went back to see, okay, this is it. And I went back. It has been my favorite login framework since then. So we'll talk a little bit about the logging frameworks. Oh, sorry. Give me a minute, please. Sorry, can you still hear me? Hello, please, if you're with me, just
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
okay, thank you. So, what is a Java util login? What is it? It's a built-in Java framework. It provides basic logging capabilities that uses the formatter, the loggers, handles, handler, and uh, maybe logging level. So it is actually good and better for um, smaller projects. Yeah, it's better for smaller projects. By default, the Java util login uses logs only info. So if you want to see maybe the debug level, you have to maybe set the debug level on your application properties. Then we have the log4j. We actually log4j2 because it's the most recent. So the log4j2 is a successor of the log4j1. So it has a very high performance, and it is especially used for asynchronous logging. So it works very well with SLF4J. It works very well with SLF4J, and it equally has features like the filter, the login level, rolling files, and the custom appenders, and all of that. So it is actually an improvement of the log4j1. Yes. Then we have the SLF4J. The SLF4J, it doesn't log itself, but it provides a consistent API. Think of it like a universal adapter. So your app is not tied to a specific login engine at any time. So anytime you switch to a different login framework, you will still be able to use your logs. And the logback. The logback is usually the default choice for most modern Spring Boot projects because it's flexible, it's powerful, and it supports filters and async logging like the rest of them. So this is too bad. This is a simple login that I use the SLF4J for it. If you look, I'm using you notice that I'm using um you notice I'm using placeholders instead of string concatenations. Like on line 11, you see processing payments for user with amount, user ID, and and the amounts. You can see the curly brace is there. That's the placeholder. So it's actually better that when you log in, you should use placeholders, and you should also log a JSON, like a key value pair, instead of logging just plain text, because it might not really provide an. Remember, the aim of logging is for you to have actionable data. So providing just plain text might not be able to suffice. So it's better you use placeholders because they are efficient and very clean. And like I said earlier, the beauty of using SLF4J is that tomorrow, if you switch from a different login framework to another one, your login code will still be the same. You don't have to change anything there. How to log? Wait, so I think I missed out something. Okay, I wanted to show you this example, but I think I missed it. Okay, so this particular coding example, you notice I'm using a static I'm using a logger factory get logger payment dot class. That's the class. Depend any class you're using, that's the class you're going to call here. If it is payment service, transaction service, anything, that's what you're going to use. So in order for you to use login here, you have to like always declare this line of code in that particular class that you want to be logging. Then use the variable to be calling it, like log.info, log.debug, different log levels. So that's how it works. And you also have the option of using the annotation. That's the Lombok SLF4J annotation. This is what I usually use because I think it's faster and straight to the point, and it reduces the need for a boilerplate code. So the moment I have my annotation at the top of my class, I'm able to just use the different log levels, debug, one, trace, error, and the rest of them. So without having to declare any logger factory class like that. So that's it. So now, how do we log effectively? So in order to log effectively, we have to use the different, the right and the appropriate log levels. So we have different log levels. We have the info, we have one, we have error, we have trace, and debug. So like that. So you should know which one to use and at what time you should use it. For instance, if you are using log.info, you know that okay, you just want to provide key system events, like okay, this config file was loaded, this service just started, and all of those minor issue going into payment service. Just provide details so that you know what level you are and what you're doing at each point. Then we have the log.debug. That's if you that level of logging is used for detailed internal situation. Maybe you want to get the detailed, maybe um, during debugging, you want to get detailed information about things happening internally. Then the log.one for recoverable issues. Then log.error, you use it for failure, something that requires your urgent attention. Another way to log effectively is to never log sensitive data. Sensitive data such as password, PIN, financial transaction details like credit card details and numbers, all of those things. No, never log it. It is not advisable because imagine if your logs now get into the hands of the wrong person, it's going to be a disaster. Also, always add context to your logs. For instance, let me go back to the code example. You see that when we are logging this, we are not only logging the amount that was the payment, we are not only logging the amount that the user was processing, we are also logging the user ID of the user to be able to tell us, okay, this user was the one that processed a transaction of 350,000. So that way we'll be able to link it. Always add that. Then also structure your logs. Do not log plain text. Always use key value pairs, JSON. That way you'll be able to, when we are using tools like here, okay, we'll be able to like search and okay, get the value and the key for each scenarios and like that. Focus logs on why and what happened. Not every internal variable should be logged. For instance, it's not everything that is happening within your system that you should log, because most of them do not actually provide any insight at all. They do not provide any actionable data. So it's going to be irrelevant if you just add them there. Then logging too much noise, logging too much creates noise and storage overhead. The other day I was in a group chat and a guy was complaining on how he just joined the team and he found out that the logs for the team was running into billion and how difficult it was. A technical support guy, for him to like okay go through the logs, find out what's going on, because you find out that things that are being logged are too much. Let's say, for instance, now you are working on document uploads, and let me assume the documents are like too much. You're uploading it like you're expecting a base 64 string. Like for those of us that have worked with base 64, you know, like it's very large. Imagine sending like 5 documents and then you are logging the base 64 string. The person going through the log will just might want to go crazy scrolling through that part alone. So we should, it's not everything that we should log. There are some things that we should not log. That way we are also reducing the overhead cost of storage and all of that. Always set to production log dot info and one level. So that's the best practice. And then for development, you can now use debug, because that one is used for detail. It will provide detailed information that you can use for your troubleshooting. So too little logging leaves blind spots. Like I say, it will not provide you with all the details that you need. So you should just try your best to capture key events and use parameterized messages. Avoid string concatenation. No, avoid it. Always use your JSON and the structured log, like I said. All the for instance, if here we are doing a log.info processing payment for, now put your code plus user ID, now do another plus. That's actually very stressful and is not even an effective way to log. So that's that for that. So these are just examples of the logging levels. Logging levels, fine grained debug. Trace is used for fine grained debugging information. Debug level provide detailed information for debugging. Info provide the application flow information. The one wants you about potentially harmful situations, such as retrying failed operation and the likes. Then the error level, it provides maybe events that don't stop the application, like fail to process payments for order. Look at the particular order it's talking about. That's the correlation ID added there, like that, like that. So simple audit trail. Like I said, an audit is not meant to provide too many information. An audit just needs few things from you, like who did what was done, and at what time was it done, and the status of whatever it is that was done. So mostly audits are usually saved in the database. Like, they are usually saved in a database, and sometimes you like maybe have an API and a front end there that will just integrate the API. A GET request will just show the people at the front there, maybe your operations and the like, that okay, this is what's going on, that's what's going on. They'll know okay, who deleted the code, the database. They are going to know and stuff like that. That's just on a lighter note. So they will be able to know what is you have another person to approve. So this audit now will be able to provide a clearer information about who requested for this transaction to be processed. Okay, Rosemary, who approved it? oh, is the head of head of management, so person. So that way it's easier to track some of these things, who did what and when they did it. And with next up is AOP. Ah, AOP. AOP simply stands for aspect oriented sorry, please don't mind me. It simply stands for aspect oriented programming. Yes, aspect oriented programming. So cross-cutting concern functionalities that spans multiple modules like logging, auditing, and even security. So both all this logging and auditing that we've been talking about since, AOP makes it better. It it combines the logging, auditing, and everything together into one so that it will help you to focus on the business logic. Just like the way we have, let me say, our service class and our implementation in one other side, so that in the other side, like so when a clear a simple look at the service class will show you, okay, this is what this does and this is how this is what this does, this is what this particular method does and how it's going to do it. Then when you now move further to the implementation, you now see, okay, everything. So everything that is being done. So AOP just handles all the cross-cutting concerns, like I say. So things like logging and auditing. So it's just a way that your business logic that helps you to like focus on your business logic, like the transferring money, managing users, and then you don't even have to worry about log dot processing transaction for ID this for so amount. No, you don't have to worry about that. So it just lets you pull everything together and manage them centrally. So why do we need uh, AOP? So AOP helps us to like make our code cleaner. You understand? Like I said, separation of concern, keeping business logic very separate from the main code itself. And then it uses a declarative approach like the annotation or configuration instead of scattering logs all over the place. So the traditional logging problems is that, for instance, let me go back again to the code example. To this code example, you see here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 logs in this functionality that is not supposed to take like, do you understand? Like the logs is basically what we can see at the first glance on this code base. What you see is that there's logs all over the place. So it's actually a problem. So it helps you to like clear all these logging statements all over your business logic, and then eliminate the need for boilerplate code, and then maintenance nightmare, inconsistent formats. Like some people will be logging plain text, or that will be logging JSON. If you work in a team, you understand what I'm talking about. So AOP solve all of these problems. It just helps you to write that logic once and for all. You just write it once and for all, and then you automatically apply it in every other place. So the benefits of using AOP is clean code. Like from the explanation, you understand that you have a cleaner code because you'll be able to maintain and focus on your business logic, and it makes your code very readable. Then a centralized control. All logging logic is dedicated to aspects. So consistent formatting. So you have a uniform login across the entire application, like I said, because some people might be doing something different, and the other members in your team might be doing something different entirely as well. So easy maintenance. Easy maintenance, that's another benefit of AOP. So that is that for AOP. I did not add this. So that's just it. This is a simple code example AOP, where you do your simple implementation there and then you use it all over your business logic with just a simple annotation. So you create your custom annotation somewhere and then somewhere you're just calling it at this, at that, and then it's logging everything for you. Helps you to maintain pure and clean business logic. So AOP just helps you focus on real business while you handle the other important things. Okay, so this is okay. So key best practices for AOP. Use specific point codes. Target only necessary methods. Methods that are not necessary, just leave them to go. And handle exceptions gracefully. You ensure that aspects don't break your application flow. Because we are now looking for um, we are looking for what is the word? Something that will make our life simpler does not mean it should make our code more complicated or make the product go back instead of going forward. Then configure login level. So in this configuration of login levels, it's actually advisable to externalize your login levels. For instance, you should not hard code maybe a particular level. Uh, how do I say this? Okay, it should not be part of your Java code. It should be part of maybe an environment variable application config separate, so that maybe when you want to log for when you want to change switch from one level to another, maybe you want to switch from info to debug, for instance, you just go there, change it without having to like maybe recompile or repackage or redeploy your application. So it's always better for you to configure it in an external. Then performance monitoring, track aspect execution time for optimization. Always do that. It's very key. And with that, I have come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for
Wow, that was amazing. Please let's react it to our favorite emoji. Thank you very much. Is there any question? If you have any question for her, kindly signify by raising up your hands so we can welcome your questions. Any question? Okay, I think the first person is Samuel, followed by Bright and Jeremiah. So you can unmute and ask your questions. Thank you.
Uh, Good evening. Can you hear me, please?
yes, you can hear someone.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I really appreciate the the breakdown. I mean, it's well structured, and I think I was flowing from the start to the beginning, and how the audit part now coupled both the AOP coupled both the auditing and the logins together. But my question is this now. I want to ask a question regarding logins because of recent I've been playing a lot with logins and I'm discovering some things and I have a lot of questions as well. So, but I'll just ask a few that I have at the top of my head. So, my question um, is it advisable to store logins like because what at least some of the spring boots but we don't store like I don't know the ones that I've built I've not stored logins. I've not seen any reason to store logins. So is it advisable to store logins, and if you are going to store it, should you store it in a DB or just a plain text somewhere? And what is the downside of let's say of login? Does it have some form of overhead that will actually affect the speed the speed or the overall performance of the application?
Okay. Thank you very much, Samuel, for that question. Yeah, for logs, it's very advisable to have your log somewhere. Like I'm familiar with using Dozu to like retrieve your logs or whatever that is happening. Then, but not in a database for logs, not database, but audits. You can store audits in a database because what you are storing is actually a minimal data, a minimal data. So yes, it is advisable to store logs. However, only store relevant and structured log and always keep it safe. You understand? Because imagine debugging without logs. Like, how are you going to do it? You won't even know what is happening and why it happened. Maybe if you are doing the normal, maybe hello world, printing a hello world, that might not be an issue. But imagine a fintech application without logs. How how do you want to start? You won't be able to start. And yes, truly, if the logs are too much, it incurs an overhead like cost of storage and all of that. So keep it minimal at all time. Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for the answer. Bright, are you still asking your question, or we should move to Jeremiah?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rosemary, for such a powerful section. Yeah, so my question, you mentioned about the SL4J, the Logger 4J and stuff, and also you talked about the system.println, right? Good. So now I just want to understand, is there any trade-off, between using the the south, that is the system.println, over the SL4G? So like, what should you consider when choosing a logging system, right? So I know that this system.println is inbuilt sort of, right? But the SL4J and the rest may be like an extra package. I can't really tell for now, right? So what do you consider? What is the trade-off? Yeah, all right.
Okay, if I get your
Thank you.
question well, you said, is there any trade-off between that's like difference between system.out.println and maybe SLF4J using log.info and the likes, right?
Yeah, so if I'm choosing system.println, what am I missing out from SL4G? Like, what am I actually missing out? What am I missing from choosing one over the other? Yeah.
Okay, okay. I get your point. I get your point. So if you're using the regular print line, the system dot out dot print line, it is simple, like we know, straight to the point and straightforward. But it doesn't give you that login level. Like I mentioned earlier, there are different log levels: the info, the debug, trace, error, and the likes. It just prints out what it is that is there, and then tools like the ELK or maybe those who like this, you'll not be able to like search through it because the logs that is being stored is very hard to filter. You understand? But if you use tool like the SLF4J, like I said, it doesn't really require too much configuration. What you just need for if you're using the annotation, for instance, you just need a Lombok to have Lombok dependency in your pom.xml file, and then you'll be able to use it everywhere across. So okay, that's that for that. And then what do I consider when choosing logging frameworks? You just consider performance as always. Performance is very critical to us. Performance and to me, I would also consider configuration. Like any framework that require me to do lots of configuration, believe me, I'm not going for it. I want my life to be simple. I'm more of a discussing effective logging in modern Java applications. So for me, I always go for Lombok, the SLF4J annotation, because it's straight to the point and easy to use. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rosie.
All right. So to the last man standing. But if there's another person that have a question, you can also simplify. Jeremiah, you can unmute and ask your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. My question is, first question, would you advise that the audit database be separate from the main application database? The second question is, do you know any standard best practice in rotating audit logs? Because one thing I've noticed over the years, once imagine having a database that logs every crude operation or every changes in a very large application for the past 5 years. Is there like a standard best practice policy in rotating your audit logs? That's my
Okay,
question.
okay, thank you very much, Jeremiah. So the first question you said, do I advise audit logs to be stored in a separate DB or should be stored in isolation?
Yes.
So, the answer is in most cases, I think it is actually advisable to have your audits somewhere than other than where your general database information are being stored. Maybe a separate DB. That's if you can afford the maybe the cost and the logistics of setting all of that up. It's actually more advisable to have your audit logs because this audit is what provides straight to the point insight on what happened. Just okay, imagine okay, there's maybe a corruption issues within an organization and the head of operation or management has access to the DB. He can equally just go and do some certain. It's just an example. I know it doesn't happen in most cases. So that's just an example. But if your log is stored in isolation, it keeps data safe just in case the main database is being compromised. And that is that for that. You are saying okay, for large applications that okay have been storing logs for over the years, how do I advise? Sincerely, I've not thought of this, but like I said a few days ago, I saw in a group chat where a guy was complaining about too many logs because that have been accumulated over the years. And from what he said, how they resolved it is they reduced, they went through the log and I said, did I say delete or just removed a lot of logs that that he thinks is not important. And there are a lot of arguments about some information might be important. You are not there when they do. How sure are you? So many details. But sincerely, I don't know the answer to this, to your last question. But if anybody here knows the answer, please do me the favor. What do you think? How do you handle logs that we've been using over the years? Right.
Yeah, so I will just, speak, based on what to do in my current, place of work, right? So you know that log is not like a critical data. Like it's not so critical that a company is going to fall because of you lose one or two logs, right? Yeah, so basically you can archive, per year, right? You can archive that table per year so that you just have to deal with a year worth of data because log can, easily build up so fast. You get, so you archive your data per year. Some persons, just archive maybe every 6 months. You get, yeah. So it kind of helps to reduce the amount of data you have to, run through each time. Yeah, thank you. All right.
Thank you very much, Bryce, for that answer. Thank you, David. Archive the logs. I saw your chat. I sincerely appreciate. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right, I don't know if Austin can still go ahead, but we have barely 3 minutes to go. So, Austin, you can unmute and speak.
Okay, thank you very much. I actually came late to this meeting. I think I'll just have to go back and watch the recording. But I started using login. I logging of late like recently, and I discovered that when I log to like the terminal, right? So there's so much, and I find it difficult to actually choose and get the messages I'm looking for. So I don't know if there's a better alternative, and it looks like I've already covered that part of it. So I would like to take you guys back. I'll just hold on and wait till when the recording is out so I can go through it again.
Okay, it's okay. No problem. But to be just to go straight to the point, if there are too much log, sometimes we log like the stack trace, so it's kind of increase the whole logs and all of that. So you can use the a simple log level, maybe log.info and the like, so that you just get your.
All right, then.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome, Austin. Thank you.
All right, firstly, Rosemary, I want to really thank you for your time. Thank you for making this section a wonderful one. We really appreciate. And then for all those that made it also a success, we thank you for being here. And we believe you've learned one or two. We'll still have the same section next week. For those that are just joining, you can go through the chat. You see the NAIJA-JUG group link for the WhatsApp, the YouTube channel where you can get access to this video, the record section, and also our LinkedIn group um, page. So you're all welcome, and this is where we are going to call it a night. But Rosemary, I just want to say that this is one of the section outside many section we are going to have with you. So stay put. All right,
Thank
thank you guys, and good night.
you, everyone.
Good night, everyone.